you want to load the data to the BW, then only you can check long text. When you check these fields, system will automatically create these fields for the structure. So before checking this, I mean, if you have such a requirement, you have to check this, or else it will, I mean, it doesn't make sense. So further, you need to describe whether texts are language dependent or texts are time dependent. You check by default it is available, language dependence is available, and it makes sense to load language if the source system is providing data in different languages, so that a language dependent will be used. And texts are time dependent means it creates further time variant, so that it can store the time dependent data. So that is the use of this. So what system will do is to here, according to this selection, system will create a field for the short text and a field for the language dependent. So 0 langu is the characteristic for this, and the short text 0 shtxt is the characteristic for this. Those two characteristics will be created by the system. And this tab is hierarchies. If you are going to load hierarchies for the material or customer for this object, you have to check this with hierarchies. If you check with hierarchies, all these options will be activated. Here hierarchies are there are options like hierarchies are version dependent, hierarchies are not time dependent, entire hierarchy is time dependent, and time dependent hierarchy structure. Generally hierarchies are grouped structures. So in hierarchies you can if you have an organization structure which you want to group it according to the according to the characteristics, for example, you have some nodes, levels, and you have some characteristics like continents, countries, regions, cities, like that. So you want to group the data according to that. In that case you can create hierarchies. So there are hierarchy not time dependent. It means that you create hierarchy, and that hierarchy is a static constant. It means it doesn't depends on the time. For example, if there is a person working, a manager working in a particular place in a organization, and if in case we are representing him in the hierarchy. For example, he is in New York, and then he has shifted to the Virginia. So it has to show, for example, the duration. He was working in New York from 2000 to 2008, and he just transferred to the Virginia from 2008 to 2013. So these durations, when give these durations, that time, because of those time limits, the hierarchy we have to use for that is a time dependent hierarchy structure. If you want to click entire hierarchy is time dependent, what will happen is the hierarchy, generally the hierarchy concept is hierarchies have the root node and then the nodes, all the other nodes. So in that case, so generally hierarchy consists of a root node, and these are all called nodes. So in this case, when you define a hierarchy is time dependent, it has to be it will be dealing with the nodes. All the nodes should be time dependent. And if in case in our example a person has worked in New York from 2000 to 2008, it will be a separate record. And then if the person is shifted from New York to some Virginia, so it will be the record will be shifted. That person will be representing Virginia from 2008 to 2013. So this so these two records in a same hierarchy will be created. That is called hierarchy, time dependent hierarchy. If you make it entire hierarchy as a time dependent, then the root node itself will be time dependent. It means that all those dates we apply from 2000 to 2013 and 2000 to 2008 and 2008 to 13 are applied here, and the and two hierarchies will be created according to the times. It will create two different hierarchies rather than creating two records. So that is the entire hierarchy time dependent, and hierarchy is time dependent. That is the difference between them. So here are few master data tables. You can see that there is a P table. Generally it is a time constant table, and when we are doing the routines, we can use this P table generally. And you can see for the time dependent master data, there is a Q table created. System creates this table. So if we are doing if we are dealing with the time dependent master data and we want to write a code on that, then we use Q table here. So there is a master data table view which is all normally created, that is represented by M. So generally when you system doesn't access directly the P and Q tables, but the view, and it accesses these two tables through view. So this table is also created. So master data SID time constant navigation table is there. For navigation table time constant attributes, the X table is created, and for the time constant navigation time dependent navigation table, Y table is created. So you can see the results here for a clear picture. For the attributes, you have the result here with the attributes like name and phone and address. For the text, you will have a result like this. A system will generate a language key and the short description. For as default, we have seen these two checked in the here in this screen. We have seen this with text and with language dependent, short and language dependent. So these two fields will be created and it will be loaded like this. So you have for text, the table will be created by the system, that will be the T table, and for the hierarchies H table will be created, which I haven't given. So generally lowercase letters is another option which is available in info objects. If you check lowercase, then it means that you are accepting lowercase. You have to make a choice before selecting lowercase letters, because if the business is if the business is representing the capital L and small l like the same characters, for example any model of a car, if you are loading a models of a car and there is some CX, and if the capital C and capital X is there, capital C and small x is there, if they are if they are giving two different meanings, it means we have to check the we should not check the lowercase letters, because we have to check the lowercase letters, sorry, because we have to load two of them differently. If you are loading, then it means that it will. So let's see here. In characteristic info objects, a customer number could be displayed as capital A and capital small a. So it should be clarified whether these two are identical or different customers. If lower cases are allowed, these two customer numbers will be stored in different forms, else we will get an error. So either we load both of them, or we will get an error. So that is why we have to make a choice before checking the lower case, whether they both of them are two different ones, or we just want capital letters. So if you uncheck this, if you are still loading lowercase, that means the system will throw an error. So there is a conversion routine alpha, which helps you to convert from external formats to the internal formats. So for example, you will have a time field like this. Generally you will see the time fields in a year, month and day format. This is called internal format. And when you load the data and when you display the result, system will convert the time to the external format, which is for this. But for this conversion, we have a conversion routine called alpha conversion routine. And not only this is for the dates. And for example, if you have 1000 as a organization number, and you have a you have to decide both